Hello, class. We are to see a new chapter today, the production analysis. So far, we have seen two chapters. In the first chapter, we studied about the various definitions for economics given by Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall, Lionel Robbins, and Samuelson. We also saw the subdivisions of economics. The subdivisions of economics are consumption, production, exchange, and distribution. In the second chapter, we dealt with one of the subdivisions of economics, consumption. What is consumption? Using up of goods and services is called as consumption. In this chapter, we will deal with production. So for production, we need the factors of production. So what is production? Production is the process of using various material and immaterial inputs in order to make output for consumption. Production process creates economic well-being. So production is the result of the cooperation of four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and organization. So before going into the class, I would like to say a small story. I'm sure you will be very happy to listen to the story. Can you see the slide? Yes. So there was a wealthy merchant who was traveling to distant lands for trading. During one such sea voyage, his ship struck on an iceberg and he was left with nothing but a log of wood. He clung on to that log, swam to safety, and reached the deserted part of an island. Survival became difficult, and he had to depend on the fruits, the roots, and the leaves which were available in the island. He couldn't spot any human being. He was left all alone. He was terrified. After a few days, he wanted to have a non-veg meal. So an idea struck him, and he made a fishing rod with the resources available in the island. Now he was able to master the art of catching fish. So he was able to have some fishes for his meal. Gradually, he became a master of that trade and he was able to catch more and more fishes. So he had to dry those fishes, and he also had a taste of those dried fishes, and they were really tasty. Now what happened? He had ample time, so he was fishing throughout the day. He had plenty of fishes for himself, and there was leftover also. So the leftover fishes were converted into dried fishes. Now he got some energy after eating all those non-veg items, and he thought, why not I go and search for something inside the island. Let me go and see if there are any human beings inside, so that I can go and sell these fishes and dried fishes and make some money for my living. So he started walking, and to his utter surprise, he saw a few people living on the other part of the island. So he started selling the fish and the dried fish to the people who were there in the island, and they also thought it was really yummy, and they started ordering for fishes and dried fishes from the merchant. So what happened now? He started catching more and more of fishes, and he started making dried fishes, and he was selling it at an exorbitant price, and he made a lot of money. So he was able to save a lot of money now. Now he thought, why not? I start my own business here. So he constructed a huge boat, and he employed some men. He hired them to work under him, and they also learned the trade of fishing, the art of catching fishes, and he was able to make even more fortune with the help of others. So he became a proprietor of a big company now, Fish O Fish. He started dealing with dried fish, variety of fishes, fresh fishes, dried ones, and he became a wealthy merchant. And again, he was able to come back to his hometown. So, what do you learn from this story? Yeah, I can hear some of you say that hard work is the reward for his fortune. Yes, very correct. Only if you put in your efforts, your energy, your mind, you will be able to achieve great things. But I want to introduce something from this story. Here we see there are four factors of production. So, what are the four factors of production? It is the land, or you can also say here it is the sea, the labor, the merchant's labor. He was willing to work, he had the potential to work, so he had to sacrifice his leisure time in catching those fishes. So we have the land and the labor. So these two factors are called as the primary factors of production. It is not created by someone, it is the gift of nature. Land is a gift of nature. Next, we have the capital, the amount that he was able to earn by selling those fishes. Then he was able to set up an organization, Fish O Fish, the brain behind. He was able to make a fishing rod, then he was able to construct a boat, then he was rational in employing so many people to help him. So, this is the organization. So, we have the four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and organization. In economics, land and labor are called as primary factors. Capital and organization are called as derived factors. These are called as primary factors, land and labor, and capital and organization were derived. These two factors were derived from these two factors, land and the labor. That's why they are called as the derived factors or the secondary factors. So without these factors of production, we will not be able to produce anything. Hope it was clear now, girls. The four factors of production. So what are the four factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and organization. So what are the primary factors? Land and labor are called as the primary factors. And what are the derived factors? Capital and organization. So in this chapter, production analysis, we will be dealing about the features of the factors of production, namely land, labor, capital, and organization. We will be dealing with economies of scale and diseconomies of scale. I will be explaining about economies and diseconomics later on. Then we have isoquants and the law of supply. So all these things we will be seeing in detail in this chapter, the production analysis. So what do you mean by production? So for production, we need the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So what is production? Production is the process of using various material and immaterial inputs in order to make output for consumption. Why do we create goods and services? For consumption purpose. So production process creates economic well-being. The satisfaction of need originates from the output. Only if there is output, there will be satisfaction of needs, which in turn creates economic well-being. So again, production is the result of cooperation of the four factors of production: land, labor, capital, and organization. In economics, production refers to the creation or addition of value. When you produce a goods, there is a creation of value or there is a addition of value. In simple terms, production means transformation of inputs into outputs. Production may be at varying level. What do you mean by varying level? Depending on the amount of money that we have, there can be production at various levels. It can be small scale, large scale production. The scale of production influences the cost of production. If you want to produce, you can produce very little. Suppose if I have a hotel, I can produce at least 500 idlis per day. If I have a bigger hotel, I can produce 5,000 idlis per day. So production influences the cost of production. So depending on the scale of production, the cost of production is decided. If there is small scale of production, the cost of production will be less. If there is a large scale production, the cost of production will be more. But when there is large scale production, the average cost of production will become low. All manufacturers are aware that when production of a commodity takes place on a large scale, the average cost of its production is low. What do you mean by that? When production increases, the cost of production will increase. There is no doubt. The cost of production will increase. But the average cost of producing one item will reduce. So it is beneficial for the producer or the entrepreneur. At the same time, it is beneficial to the consumer because the consumer is able to buy a good at a cheaper price, at a lower price. So all manufacturers are aware that when production of a commodity takes place on a larger scale, the average cost of its production is low. This is the reason why the entrepreneurs are interested in enlarging the scale of production of their commodities. That's why entrepreneurs are interested in enlarging the scale of production of their commodities. They stand to benefit from the resulting economies of scale. There is also the possibility of making their products available in the market at lower prices. If the products are available to the consumers at lower prices, the demand for that particular product will increase. So, large scale production is both the advantages for the producer as well as consumer. So, what are the factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur or the organization. Land includes the gift of nature or natural resources not created by human effort. So land is not created by human effort. Labor includes people with all their efforts and abilities. So labor means our efforts, our ability. All these constitute the labor. What is capital? Capital includes the tools, the equipment, the factories used in production. It can also be money capital, money. Capital takes different forms. Okay. So capital includes tools, equipments, factories which are used in production. Entrepreneurs are individuals who start a new business or bring a product to market. So these are the factors of production. In the next video, we will see the characteristics of the factors of production.